Hey there, welcome back guys. This video is thanks to Xbot for Life viewer. Thanks for pointing out that we actually did the review of the Firehouse light, but somehow no one managed to see how bright the light was. So what we're going to do now is we're going to set up the Firehouse light, and we're also going to review the Vifly light. Apparently this is said to be brighter, so you'll be able to see both lights. One, the as you know, we have one installed underneath on the undercarriage of the Mini 3 Pro on the landing gear, and we're also going to install the Firehouse light on the battery on the rear end. All right, so let's get started. All right, so we got everything set up. As you can see, we have our landing pad, and the reason why is because this is asphalt and it's really hot, but with the material here, everything should be fine. So you want to make sure you have your battery. In this case, this is going to be the 249 gram battery, the ultralight. It doesn't matter which one, but this is the one that's actually charged. If you have the Firehouse light already, it does come with extra adhesives, but as you can see, I'm short because I used one on the undercarriage, so I don't have any more. So one thing you can do is I have these 3M strips, Velcro strips, which work really well. Let's see, pretty adhesive. If you have something better, I would recommend that. But when you want to make sure that the light is attached to the drone, you want to press them really hard. See that? You press it, but you'll be doing that when everything is put together. So what we want to do is you want to make sure that's like that, and then as you can see, there's a groove there on the battery, so you may or may not get, so you can just measure it out. I'd say right about there, and you want to go a tad shorter, just so that it actually does fit. And these come off fairly easily. So now what you'll do is you'll take this off, and voila. And then what you're going to do is line that up. Make sure that's there, which is great. Now if you already have the Firehouse light, just have a container ready, because it will stick again, which is great. And you'll just have to use maybe the plastic from there to seal it up again. So we're going to open that up, or you can use the plastic from one of those. And we're just going to peel this off really, really gently. Okay. I mean, that's the only good thing about the Firehouse light. I don't know what your experience has been with it, but I have two. The manufacturer wouldn't take the defective light back. They wouldn't honor it. So I would recommend, if you do buy this light, buy it from Amazon, because Amazon, as you know, is really good with their returns, no matter when or where you got it. See that? Now the adhesive can be used again. And just seal that up, put it away from the heat. Just keep it in the shade because it will get hot. And now we have this one ready to go, almost ready. So now what you got to do is actually it's the wrong one. There we are. See? So now we want to line that up simply by just peeling this up. Might be a little bit too long, but that's okay. So now what you want to do is just line it up. There. Now that's stuck on. Now you could take this off, or you could, do whatever you want. It's fine. You can cut that, right? Because what'll happen is dirt will start sticking to this after you take it off. So let's say you take this off, right? And then you could either let it go up on the edges, right? Like that. Or you can just cut the excess, whichever works best for you. For me, I'll probably cut the excess. So in this case, we're gonna just cut the excess off. There we are. See that? Now it's evenly applied, and then we're going to cut the excess off here. See? Voila. Now you have a little bit more there, real estate to play with, because let's say you want to put it there. Doesn't really matter as long as it sticks. See? It sticks really well. And it's ready to go, right? And you have to close the landing gear a little bit to put it on. Of course, the battery's upside down. And voila, look at that. So now we have one here, and then we also have one there. This is going to be really bright. Oh, and we also have the lights here. 1, 2, 3, and of course in the front, 4 kin. Okay? All right. So that's ready to go. And let's see how this one looks in the dark. Okay. Well, it's still light right now, but on in a bit. And 3, 2, 1. So now that this is set up, let's check out the Vifly light. This is brand new. I've actually had it for a while, a few months now, but I never really opened it because I was pretty content with my lights. But I figured, hey, what better time to review this than now? I've heard mixed reviews on it, so let's just see. Let's get this out of the way so we can see. Okay, it comes with a USB-C charger, which is great. I'm a big fan of USB-C. Everything comes, oh nice, everything comes bubble wrapped. This is a lithium ion battery, which is mixed feelings about it. You have to be careful with them because they can explode. Not that the other batteries can't, but usually with exposure you have to be careful not to puncture that. If you've ever seen these, when they're punctured, they explode and they can light a fire. So I would be careful with that and this, because as you can see, there's an adhesive there that goes on, but I'm not sure how strong the plastic is when holding all that together. So it's pretty straightforward. You have your light. I wonder if this will actually work to the other plug-in strip that we have. Let's see which one is on the Mini 3 Pro. Hopefully it's a universal side. It'll work. Look at that. Sort of. It's strong to some extent. It should hold. Yeah, I believe it will hold. Alright. Yep. To some extent. We could always take that off. Oh wow, this is really strong. This is actually stronger than the other one, which is great. But we'll just use that one. Alright. So we'll just test that from there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this one on here. Okay. It looks really good, and of course it needs to be charged. So we're going to charge it and then see how this works. As you remember, there's no casing. It's just simply an exposed light that's supposed to be bright, similar to the Firehouse light. The Firehouse light comes with a light. This one has 1, 2, 3 LEDs, I believe. The Firehouse light has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 LEDs which light up. Again, it needs to be charged, so let's get back in a bit. So far, I like the Firehouse light because it's enclosed in a case and that everything is exposed. But the packaging isn't always everything. So let's charge this one up. Which it turns out that the Vifly light isn't going to stick to the current adhesive setup that we have here. It will stick, but as you can see, it'll just fall right off, and we don't want that to happen while flying. Now the Firehouse light is really on there because it has the matching adhesive, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to maybe use the excess, right, adhesive that we have here from the Firehouse light that we use from the 3M strip, and just apply it onto here on the Vifly so that they both have matching adhesives and are able to stay on during flight. Okay, so we're back and it's nighttime, so we'll be able to test the lights out. This is the Vifly light, but first we're going to be testing out the Firehouse light with the Lume Cube on it, and of course we have other lights on the propellers beneath, which can help give orientation of which way the drone's flying. Either way it can work. So let's say if you don't have any of these lights and you just have the lights at the bottom, you could put red in the back, green in the front, etc. You could always Google the correct orientation for the lights. But for me, I have these here underneath. I'm going to turn them on, flashing red in the back. And it's always good to know the orientation of your drone when flying at night so that you can fly further away. So look at that, green in the front, red in the back, right? So that's with these lights. So now we're just going to run a little test and see how these work out. I'm just going to shut off my light. 1 second. Oops. So that's that. That's with these lights. Now remember, these lights are going to be seen from above, right? You're going to look up and see that. Now we're going to turn on the Lume Cube. Lume Cube I like to keep at its brightest so that you can be seen, even though you don't see it from below. You see it, the planes should be able to see it. So I like to leave it like that, flashing, right? Now we have the Firehouse light on the back of the battery that we put on earlier. Now we have that, but now remember, I have to go inside and get it. So for you, it'll happen in real time. So now we have the light, the Lume Cube, the Firehouse light there. But remember, another light's going to go underneath. So we're going to put the Firehouse light under there. So I have to go inside and get that. Okay, so 1 second. So now we have the Firehouse light that's going to go underneath, which is great. Make sure that's on at its brightest, and you know it's on at its brightest when you hold it, and then the brightness shines on it. So now that goes under here. So now you can see this drone from thousands of feet away. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to be flying that far tonight because it's a little bit windy, and remember, this is the Mini 3 Pro. But we'll get it as far up and out as we can so that you guys can see how this thing works. Let me shut this light off on my forehead. There. And that's how it looks with the light off. My light. This is my headlamp. Headlamp on, headlamp off, drone in the dark. Okay? So now I'm probably gonna move the drone over a little bit so I can get some better recording, but I think I'm in a pretty good spot. Let me just turn on the Mini 3 Pro. Now remember, the drone itself has built-in lights in the front, so we'll be able to see that too. So this is pretty bright and blinding from above, the rear, and under, right? And this is great. Now remember, you want to set up your lights so that you can see them and get the orientation of your drone. So I know that this is the back, and I know that that's the front. So if you're not sure where you are, just fly backwards, right? Fly backwards, fly forwards. That's it. And that's how you can maintain orientation of your drone between left and right. And if you don't know which way left or right is, remember, green's in the front, red's in the back. So knowing that and moving forward, and knowing that there are no strobe lights on the front of the drone, so you're always going to know the orientation. Okay, so on that note, let me pull the camera back while this, as you can see, I'm connecting it to the controller, but firmware is updating. And let's see what we can do and pull off
the home point has been updated.
In the dark.
Please check it on the map.
Okay, so I'm just going to pull back a little bit, lift up the drone. Let it go forward. see. There it is there. Now from a lower standpoint, if you're flying low, oops. Just gonna move it up. Bring it down. Remember, it's in the dark, so obstacle avoidance is not its best in the dark, right? And there it is there. That's with all the lights really blinding. All right, so now let's see how far we can get it in the sky. See, there it is there, but it's again, it's, you know, what you're seeing is the video experience. We're gonna see how far we can fly the drone. We're flying at 22 miles an hour. It's interesting how it's set in sport mode. It does fly faster, but could be the wind resistance. But we can still see the drone, which is great. The only downside is that planes are flying low. We could bring the drone up a little bit to, let's say, 300 feet. So that's the only downside to doing a range test with the lights, is when aircraft is flying lower than usual, which is a bummer. So your distance in taking the drone is actually limited, right? But on that note, we're at 233 feet height and 1,500 feet away, which is great. And we can still see the orientation of the drone. Now remember, we got 27 minutes left, but all that can change instantly. So you have to be really careful with the battery. We're at 2,000 feet, which is awesome. And we can still see the drone. I still see the lights flashing, which is just phenomenal. RC, we lost a little bit, and then it comes back. And then now we're at 2,000. Maybe we'll cap it off at 3 if we're lucky. And we can still see the lights. Slow down a little bit, go a little bit higher. I can still see the drone with its lights, but that's kind of close with two bars. Maybe we'll go a little bit. See, sometimes it comes back. See if we can make it to 3. Now remember, you're going to fly backwards, right? So you can still have visual orientation of your drone. Whoops. And that pretty much caps it off. We'll cap it off there, even though we could probably go a little bit further. But remember, when you fly backwards, okay? So that you can still see the drone. And remember, it's still going to fly back, but it's going to fly back a little bit slower, right? Because it's doing 21 instead of 23 or 24. So you got to leave that time into effect. An aircraft too. Let's see, 2:20, 2 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight, which is great. Drone is slowly making its way back. This is awesome. See, we got 16 minutes left. 17. Sometimes the minutes will increase and decrease depending on the flight experience, right? But we're almost there. We're at 15 minutes. See how the battery will just, go from 15, 14, 69. So that's where things get a little bit nerve-wracking, right? But the goal is to bring the drone back as fast as you can, and within the time limit that allows. As you can see, the battery just comes and goes. It goes up and down. So we went from 12 minutes, now we're back at 15. So the closer it is, the better the experience with the battery, because these drones weren't really meant to be flown long distances anyway. But I can still see the drone, because remember, I'm flying backwards. And also, aside from flying backwards, even if the drone was facing the other way, I can still see from the lights that create the orientation of the drone. So now the drone is somewhat near me, above me. I'm going to bring it in. This is great. Look, I've got 13 minutes at 65%. Not sure if you can hear the buzzing sound, but I think I'm going to take off and land it right where I was earlier. And so this is with the Firehouse light, remember. So we're still going to test out the other light and see what happens, what it actually does. But so far, so good. This is great. Alright, let's see. We have just bringing the drone in. Let's see if we can see. So this is great. This is the Firehouse light, 2 Firehouse lights, and 1 Lume Cube. and the flashing strobe lights for the propellers. And so now let's test out the other lights. The Vifly, which is another light that's supposed to be, has mixed reviews. But let's see what we got. Okay, so we're back and everything is off except for the headlamp that we have running. And now we have the Vifly light, which is basically all the circuitry is exposed, but apparently this is supposed to be a really good light. So I experimented with it earlier during the day and I was able to see some of its functions. So you have 3 LEDs here, and then you have some other 2 LEDs there that actually create different colors. So let's say we have, let me turn off my light. You hold the button down and you have bright white. It's pretty bright. I'd say it's comparable to the Firehouse light. And then you have a solid white, which is blinding. Then you have red. The red light, this could work well for visual orientation if you want to fly low on the beach. That could work well. You know, you can see the drone from far away. Brighter red. Then you have red. And then you have green, which is great. Again, some of these colors are blinding. Then you have bright green flashing, which is pretty bright if you ask me. I mean, this is all color preference. For me, I would probably use the white, not that one. So many different variations of light. I'd probably use this one on the, if I was going to fly. Definitely not leave it there. So let's run through the cycle again. Right there, and not there. Yeah, that's what I would use for flight. So let's see how this thing compares to the Firehouse. Nice, 23 satellites.
The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
Make sure before you fly, you follow your flight plan. And let's see what we have here. Just gonna pull back a little bit. The last thing we want is for the drone to fly into the camera. Because remember, we're flying at nighttime. So the obstacle avoidance does not work. And even though you have GTS, it's actually pretty bright if you ask me. It might be brighter. Let's see what we have here. Well, drone is lifting up on its own because remember, we're flying at night and obstacle avoidance seems to create a nightmarish of experience when flying in the dark, especially with its sensors. So now let's just bring the drone a little more there. It is a little bit more brighter. It does let off a little bit more of light. I would say the radius, not bad if you ask me. I'm not sure what the battery life is like on it, but it's pretty good. Here are the lights underneath. Oops. Pretty cool. Let's spin it around, all the way around. Not bad. So there you have it, guys. Actually, let me take this off. This is actually a really cool light. It works like that. And then it also has, of course, white is blinding, right? But it also has for when you're in the dark. Let's see. When you're in the dark, it also has red, which illuminates everything really well. And then you can have it set to auto so it doesn't actually do that. And so then you can just do that, turn it on like that, turn it off, because if you have your hands full, if you have the receiver in your hand, the last thing you want to do is start clicking buttons. But anyway, so there you have it. In my opinion, the Vifly light is actually pretty bright. It doesn't have the beautiful casing that the Firehouse light has. The LEDs are in a row. They do provide additional colors, which is great because let's say if you just want to use this light for visual orientation, that's fine because it works really well because it is brighter. However, for the airplanes to see, you could also use it as a strobe light. Let's say you don't want to use the Lume Cube. For me personally, I like the Lume Cube, but again, you'll never see the Lume Cube because it's facing the other direction. So, the likes are not really, it's not really meant to be liked for you, it's meant to be liked by the planes in the sky. But again, the Vifly light is really bright. But when it comes to beautiful lights, the Firehouse light is really nice because it has its casing. The orientation of the LEDs is symmetrical, which works really well. Like if you like the aesthetics of it, it is bright. It could be brighter, and at its brightest, it probably does compare to the two. But I find that the Vifly light was nice. But if you're into the packaging, remember, good looks will only get you so far, because as you know, this will go the distance. But I don't know what the battery life on this is. I do know that I've gone 10 night flights and this thing is still going. So I'm not sure with the lithium ion what the time is on this and how long it's said to last, but I'm sure the specs will probably be in the cheat sheet when you go to buy it and purchase it from Amazon or whoever. But again, if you buy any of these lights, I would recommend buying them from Amazon, because as you know, the manufacturer from the Firehouse light wrote back to me and said there's nothing we can do because I didn't buy the light from them. And you would think that they would honor the product, but Amazon will honor any product and you just return it. Let me just shut this light off. So you decide. What do you think? What are you using for your night lights to go the distance? And if you do go the distance with any of these lights, I'd recommend flying along the coast of the beach. Luckily for me, I'm able to see because there's open skies thanks to the guy next door cutting down all the trees, so it's just clear view. But if you don't have that clear view, go to the beach. Go along the sand, not along the water, along the sand. This way, if you have a oh shit moment and things aren't working out, you can just land the drone on the sand and don't set it to return home. Maybe set it to hover. And that's it. Hope this video helped you in actually seeing the lights in action and to better judge for yourself which one might be right for you. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below, or ideas for edit videos. And if you think I missed something in the last one, just reach out, and more than happy to go back and fix and re-record and post something a little bit more elaborate like this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.